Blog Talk Radio.
I forgot about you guys, did you? I know I've ran about a minute over here on our intro music. Those of you guys who join us every single day, Monday through Friday, you know at 11 a.m. Eastern, you hear that music straight up, and within 30 seconds or so, I am there. Doing a little last-minute house cleaning this morning. I do want to welcome all of you, however, to the Traffic Authority Founders Hour. We're probably going to be a half hour today, this morning. Want to make sure that you guys are in a quiet area. Maybe grab yourself a pencil and a paper. I do have some things we want to share with you. You're going to want to make a couple of notes. Also, I got Greg here with me this morning. I'm going to get to Greg here in a moment. Greg's been very, very busy working behind the scenes. You know, he is like the traffic master. What he works on primarily is making sure that every single one of us has that high-quality, top-tier traffic just running smooth, like the chocolate swirl, you know, just as smooth as silk. That's what he does every single day, and he's been fast at it the last couple of days. I have him here with me this morning, though, and I'm going to get to him in a moment. Before I do, again, I want to welcome a worldwide audience to joining us today at RadioLeverage.com. This morning, we're going to be reserving this space for only the founders. It's only going to be Greg this morning, so this is going to be Greg's space. Those of you who know the normal routine where you can press 1 on the keypad of your telephone and come on over and ask a question or make a comment, we will reserve that opportunity for Monday. We'll get back to that on Monday morning. And Greg Chambers, how are you this morning, dude? What's going on?
Hey, good morning, Joe. Glad to be out here, man. I know I've not been on the show for a few days, but it's good to be back.
Yep, glad to have you here. I know that saw you put a new image up there on a new selfie. Somebody said, "Oh man, there's Greg. He's back in the house." So I have a new image up there, a new picture. You're looking healthy. I haven't seen you in a few days. I haven't heard you, but you look healthy as the proverbial horse.
Yeah, actually, someone commented that it was a selfie from the gym, and actually it was not a selfie. I don't take selfies. Yeah, and the other thing is, whoever took that person, you know, kind of chopped the top off there. So, hey, it is what it is, you know.
And we live with we play the, and what do they say? You play the hand that's been dealt to you. So in the selfie world, there it is. It's very flattering. It's a very flattering image, though, I must say. And speaking of selfies, I don't know if you've seen this thing on the internet. And it took place here at the Diamondbacks game, the Arizona Diamondbacks of Major League Baseball. They had a baseball game here the other day. I don't know who they were playing, and there was a bunch of fraternity girls. There was a bunch of chicks sitting out there. They're from ASU, and for 3 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes, these announcers were having so much fun with the fact that these young women were just taking selfies the whole time. It was a really, really cool selfies, eating hot dogs, eating food, making faces, you know, up, down. It was crazy. It actually is a viral. I think millions of people have seen it now on the internet. So those selfies, right? They're everywhere. I come from an era where the telephone was to make calls. That it was you had your cell phone just to make a telephone call, and now it's a multimedia experience. Listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be getting back to Greg Chambers in a moment. Before I do, though, I just want to quickly give you guys a couple little things, a couple housekeeping rules for those of you who are joining us for the very first time. We do have a lot of people who are joining us. We have hundreds of people a day who are still piling on. We're fast approaching 19,000 members of our Facebook VIP page, and it seems to be ramping up. I did see a post in one of the Skype rooms for the leadership. There's these top tier guys, ladies and gentlemen. There's plenty of stuff going on in social media regarding our traffic authority. It is the rage. It's the rage right now. Okay, it's all over the internet, and the cool thing is that it's going to continue to rage. Okay, this is like a forest fire. Okay, this is just beginning. This whole traffic authority. We're just gaining momentum. We're just bringing much more stuff into play, and I'm going to talk about just the additions this last week. What happened just in the last 5 days in traffic authority. Before I do, though, I just want to mention that we seem to be getting a surge. There's a surge taking place right now. Back in August 5th is when we actually went from our beta test into pre-launch of what is now traffic authority. That began on August 5th. And we saw we started with a handful, right? There were a handful of people. I don't know what that number was, Greg. It was like less than 1,000. Wouldn't you suggest that on August 5th we had a handful of people who were loyal and had been hanging around, and of course we had a couple who came over with Adam's team. It wasn't a big number though, right? It was like a busload of people, wasn't it?
It was right around 1,000, Joe. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so it was under 1,000 people, and with that handful of individuals, we actually grew to 50,000 within our first 30 days. There's the viral power of the internet, right? We went from less than 1,000 people, just a handful of early movers, right? People who figured it out, said, yeah, this is like something I can get behind. And boom, we put 50,000 plus in the first 30 days, right? Okay, so what I'm thinking then is that what happens then? Okay, so we went from 50, I think we're up to about 80,000, and we went from 0 people on Facebook, 0. There were 0 people on Facebook, and the next thing you know, we're approaching, I don't know, 19,000 or something today, 18. I can't even keep count. I let about 50 people in. We had 50 people overnight while I was sleeping actually ask to become a member of the Facebook group. So it's growing like crazy. And one of the guys I saw that was in one of these social media groups made a comment that since October 1st, his own business has seen a surge. Okay, there's a big push, right, just since October 1st. Because, business, it goes in cycles, ebb and flow. That's just the nature of business, ebb and flow, right? And so one thing I do know from being in our industry for so many years, and Doug Wellens, who's not with us today, Doug is actually out there fishing today somewhere, fishing for some fun. But I will tell you that that in my experience in our industry, which is direct selling and network marketing, going back many, many years, we have been able to identify that the early bird gets the worm, and everybody who stays focused, if you continue to work, business never gets slow. Some of the greatest stories, the greatest income testimonies that I've ever heard were made over Christmas time, when people are like, oh, it's Christmas, I'm going to take some time off. Well, some of the legends in our industry got started, and financial pain doesn't understand that there are holidays. People who are broke are broke. People who are looking for change are looking for change. And sometimes when the holiday seasons and the summer times when they come upon us, those individuals are feeling left out of the party, so they're really hungry, really looking, and magic happens 12 months out of the year. That being said, there is such a thing as low-hanging fruit. And we know that these months of September, October, November, into early December are really, really big. Okay, so for those of you who stay focused, you can make 75% of your money that you'll make all year in these next 3 months, right? That's just fact. You can't argue with the law, right? That's the way that it works. So there's a huge surge taking place again right now. Just right now, stuff is really, there's another push. So I want you guys to be aware of that and make sure that you are plugged into the systems and the things that we're providing for you, but just get out there and make it done. Just get it done, okay? Just go out there and get it done. Let's do this, as we like to say. So a couple quick things for you brand new people. I just want to give you a couple of ideas, a couple of things that you can look for. If you're looking for support, okay, we have a very robust support desk. There's a ticket system, and this last week we have added people, okay? We've actually hired people, we meaning Traffic Authority. Okay, not me personally, but we as Traffic Authority. The corporate team has added customer support personnel. For those of you who are currently a member of our group, you know that you did receive an actual application for work. We sent out, let's hire from within. Let's hire from the group of ninjas, people who really know what's going on, people who understand, people who are loyal, people who are walking the walk. So we actually put out a request. Would you like a job? And I will tell you that it was pretty amazing to see the volume of applications we received, and not just the volume, but the quality. Man, the Ninja group is really bright. This group of people who we have attracted into our group, and I will say that some of you guys, mostly I think it's the baby boomers, like unbelievable credentials, man. I mean, degrees. I mean, people who have got just unbelievable work record and track record and the jobs that they have done, some high-tech stuff. Amazing. And just, but loyal people. But it really is interesting to see that, this is like a $12 an hour gig, and we can't believe how many people who are like, hey, I can do that. Let me help out, and I can use the extra coin, right? Somebody said, man, that would go a long way towards getting me some more traffic moving into my Traffic Authority sales funnels. So, we have the support there. If you do send in a support ticket, be patient. Okay, the support desk, I think they cleaned up over 1,000 tickets in the last week, I want to say the number is. And the interesting thing is that the 1,000 support tickets that the team cleaned up, I think it really represented, I don't know, not more than 100 people. Some people have a tendency to get impatient, right? And so some of us are sending in multiple support tickets, and that's just clogging up the works, man. That's just clogging it up. But the good news is that the support desk is on top of it. We're moving forward. We should be caught up in another day or two. So be aware of that. But there is a frequently asked questions section in your member back office. There's a support area there. We also have this morning radio show. Now, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Traffic Report. That's what we call it, Traffic Report. And we go into some mindset training. We've got some great teachers from the community that are showing up there. Okay, Celeste and Gilbert and the Mountain Man, Earl, is showing up. And we've got Bert and Canyon Lake. We've got people who show up every single day, and they make a contribution, and they talk about what's working for them and what they're thinking about and how they're approaching the business. It is like a daily motivational community call. It's like a virtual water cooler, right? Remember when you used to work in a job and you worked in an office, or even if you worked in a factory, wherever, there's a coffee room, a break room, a water cooler where people hang around and congregate. They talk about the boss, they talk about their kids, they talk about their spouse, they talk about the game last night. Well, here we have this thing taking place every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the conversation is about our experience as Traffic Authority ninjas. Right, there's a lot of Traffic Authority members, thousands, tens of thousands, right? 19,000 on the Facebook page. And then there's the ninjas, you know what I mean? Then that's like the special forces. That's the elite, the ninjas. And if you'd like to join us, you can every single morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, the cool thing about that show, the ninjas, what we do every single day is it's kind of like an overflow for support. And I've got a guy, his name is Carl. He was out there yesterday with us on the radio show. He came out earlier in the week, I want to say Wednesday. And Carl is actually sitting in the support room. He's in the support building. And sometimes people are coming out on the radio show and they've got a specific issue, and Carl is online. And we're able to, in real time, handle some overflow on the support. The reason I bring this up to you is because there's so much cool stuff going on here. And it's very, very unique, right, what we have in the Traffic Authority. Also, I want to remind you guys about the webinars. Now, the webinar that we did this last Tuesday, I'm going to talk about that in a moment. I want to get Greg in on this conversation. It was the very first of the Traffic Academy webinars. Now, and Greg, let me bring you in here, Greg, okay? I want to talk a little bit about this Traffic Academy and some of the other elements that we brought in. But you have access to information. So it's fair to say that there's a large portion of our Traffic Academy that have yet to become, a large number of Traffic Authority members who've yet to upgrade to the Academy. So is that correct? And so is it like what is it? Do you feel comfortable? Is it 3 out of 4, 2 out of 3?
Joe, we're also transparent here. I'm happy to talk about those numbers, and people need to know as they're, making sales what those conversion rates are. So absolutely, we can talk about that.
Yeah, well, I want you guys to remember one thing, the compensation model, right? What we have here in Traffic Authority, it's $20 to become a reseller. Okay, there's no commission paid on the $20. But on the webinar we did on Thursday night, I shared with people, prospects, okay, people who were looking at Traffic Authority. We shared with them, what do you get for $20? And it was mind-blowing. It was like the dashboard of a spaceship. I mean, there was so much stuff, so much training. As a reseller, right, we want you to go out there and have results. But as a reseller, all you're getting is, the reseller license with some really cool marketing links and some tools. And then the next level up, of course, is an upgrade. and that's $47. That's an additional $27. So for real, it's a $47 commitment, and you've got the reseller stuff and the marketing links, and then people also have access to Traffic Optimizer. It's simple, right? It's less than $50 a month, $47, and of that, the company pays out $20 in commission. So you don't need a lot of people, coming behind you and working with you for you to have your monthly commitment met. You get 3 people, 4 people into the program, the way the commission is split 50-50, your membership will be paid for by the commissions you generate every single week. I mean, it's silly. It's silly, right? But the real value in our program, the concept of all in the program, that is $144. That's another upgrade. So it's $20 for a reseller. It's $47 to be a Traffic Optimizer person. It's $47. But the real action is when you upgrade to the Academy. That's an additional $97. So now we're all in at $144. And the Traffic Academy has the most value of anything that come to the radio shows. People they're naming names, right? They're talking about other companies and other lead programs, and they're saying, you know what we have here dwarfs. We are going to do so much damage. And I was like, okay, you guys, it's free, talk. It's free. It's freedom of speech. Our goal is not to damage any of the other companies, right? It's not what we want to do. But some of our people are like, whoa, I've been in this other company for years, and I'm paying all this money, and what I'm getting here now for this Traffic Academy is mind-blowing. This last week, we introduced a brand new Traffic Academy, the very first member of our Traffic Academy, like a professor, right? His name is Darren Hanser. The guy is the guy in the email world. He tells the truth. He tells it like it is, and he teaches you exactly what you can do to cultivate your list. Okay, your list. You get leads that come in. Yeah, we've got autoresponders. We've got done-for-you marketing, but that list is gold. That list is worth a fortune. And he talked about learning a new skill set on how you really cultivate your list and how that can be consistent income regardless of what it is that you do, right? And that's another, we're not going to get into a bunch of training here. We'll save this to Tuesday night's webinars. But it was amazing what he was talking about. And then also he has a course. Anybody in the world, this is how he makes his living, can go and buy his course, his email boot camp. And that is right now, you can buy it on the internet for $297. He has a PDF file that is killer, that's $150. So you can go buy that right now. Take your credit card, go buy it right now. Or you can upgrade to the Traffic Academy, and it's included in there. Okay, you get the $297 course included in your Academy membership. And then there's other things. There's reseller rights. You can learn how to sell his product, and you can become his affiliate and make money in there. And that's only the first. Okay, we'll be adding every single month another very unique teacher, a very unique trainer. But Greg, maybe you can talk about that value there and how many people are missing out. Right? If you're only at the Traffic Optimizer level, if you have a commitment of $47, we are seeing a surge of people who are now saying, okay, this Academy is really killer, I'm upgrading. And when they upgrade, if you are not positioned as a Traffic Academy member, that money goes around you, right? And so there's a huge value there, and I don't want people missing out. I know people are going to come back later. I already had a guy yesterday say, whoa, wait a minute, man. All these people in my group, I see people are stepping up. They're buying the Academy. How come those commissions aren't showing up? Well, it's because you're not positioned to receive them. Greg, can you talk maybe, you're on a speakerphone, I think, if you can pick up the phone. Could you let us know yeah, I can hear you now. Let us know your thoughts on this, okay?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's going to contrast with the original question, Joe, you were asking here a little bit ago. What are the numbers? And the way it breaks down, you just feel a little bit of my numbers thunder here. You went over some of the Facebook numbers and some of the pre-launch numbers. I'm going to go over what the exact numbers are and just so people know. I mean, you're absolutely right. When we started this thing out, on the 5th, we started with 0. And over this, last 6 weeks, we've built a group that's following us in the pre-launch, the people that are in, we'll call the orbit of Pouch Authority is now 74,442. So those are the pre-launch members. And of those, 5,066 are paying members at least the traffic optimizer level. So There are probably more that are paying just the reseller amount. I didn't really look at that so much. But then getting to the academy, almost 1/3. I mean, just shy, like 32.999%. We're, right at 1,700 approximately, at the academy level, which is got to tell you, I've been doing internet offers for a very, very long time, and 20% upgrade is the standard, so we're already well above that, but we have projections to go up to 50%, and the reason that's going to be the case is, unlike so many other programs that you're just talking about, we are not going to put fluff in this. I mean, people understand we're investing, dollars to bring in the best skilled people. And the reason we're doing this is really simple. We, of course, have the done-for-you traffic packages. We know about that. But the difference between our data tests, what we've done before, and what we're doing now, and what's really going to change, it is the permanent change, it just changes everything, is actually giving people the ability to learn how to drive cut themselves and also how to manage those leads that come in. Because the one thing I've learned, Joe, over 20 years of, doing internet marketing, and I've had, literally, probably over 50,000 lead customers I've dealt with. And of that, 95% of those people believe that they have to make a return on the advertising money they're spending on that spend. And again, anyone really familiar with business understands, of course, we all want to get the best return we can. We want to get as much of that money back as possible. But the truth is, it's not how it works. Advertising is a loss leader. It is basically, it is what you do to, maintain and grow your business. But here, we are going to work with that 5% who understand that building your list and monetizing your list going forward is the most important thing. But the only way you can do that, we have to train how to do it. It's one thing Joe, for the last year, if you heard me say monetize list, monetize, it's like my middle name, I should have changed to monetize because we talked about it. But talking doesn't really make any difference. Providing the tool like came out right now, I really hope every single person on this call is on the academy and in there going through that information. And I heard from someone, man, that content's a little dry, but killer information. Understand, you guys, this is not a flop. This is the real deal. And Joe, the thing, for people that actually really want to learn those skill sets, and we've heard us talk about this in the pre-launch, and you heard us talk about it now. For the people serious about building a business and increasing their skills, the Traffic Academy is absolutely mandatory because that's where you're going to learn. And they haven't seen anything yet, dude. Joe, you're privy to a few of the things that are coming. I'm going to say the one thing about the Academy is that value is actually going to grow because, when someone logs in, in the future, they're going to actually get access to, multiple courses. So that value is going way, way up. And it's one of the things I'm most excited about, dude. It's really great.
It is, and let me keep you out here, okay? And the stats are what they are, and quite frankly, there is a recipe for success. Okay, it's like baking a cake, making cupcakes. There is a recipe, and the people who follow the recipe actually have the result. And it's interesting when we build something. We, as a team, as a collective, build something like the Traffic Academy. There are benchmarks, and there is a recipe, okay? So it's like, we want to grow this company to 100,000 subscribers. It's not going to happen overnight. It may not happen in the first year. But we know if we do specific things over and over and over, and we remain consistent, we know that we're going to arrive there because there is a formula. And it's interesting to say that you're referring to that formula right now. You know what it is, and you know where we should be based on a collective of 100 years of experience of people who have built systems, and we had Chad out here last week talking about it. But it's interesting to see that we've got a very bright, attentive group because we're above the curve on the formula. Okay, we're breaking the mold, or we're reestablishing what is possible, and that's happening because we have such discourse, and we've got such support, and we've got such cool stuff, and we've got such a heartbeat. That's true. But I want you to also maybe talk, Greg, a little bit more because this is the visionaries call. I remember. I've known you for a long time. We've talked about that many, many times. I remember in the early days, it was even before the internet. Before the internet actually was here for general people to use like us, you were in the lead business, running classified ads. bundling names and phone numbers of people that didn't even have email addresses then, who were looking for some kind of a home-based business opportunity. So, you know what you're doing there. You've been around that space a long time. However, I know that you and I, when we reconnected last year, began having conversations about, well, where are we in the world right now? And ladies and gentlemen, if you watch the webinar you hear this story on Thursday night, okay, the story is that Greg Chambers and his partners, they have done hundreds of millions of dollars in business just in lead generation, okay, CPC broker. They were pioneers in this stuff for years. And then suddenly it kind of like, well, I shared the story, Greg, that you and your partners, your businesses, what you were doing for a living as lead brokers was always dependent on whatever big company was out there and required a lot of traffic, required a lot of views, had to have a lot. Some of the biggest names, and I'm not going to name them, but one of them is a blogging platform that's out there right now. You guys know who I mean. But I know that you said, well, you and your partners decided, well, why don't we just take what we know, which is leads and clicks, and why don't we parlay that into a company that we can build and manage from the ground up? That's how we got here, ladies and gentlemen. And then earlier, like last year, the conversation said, well, okay, we know how to manage clicks. We know how to get millions of people to look at a website and click the button that says, yes, I want more information. Greg and Chad and Doug are masters at that, okay? They dominate the world when it comes to that stuff for what we do, which is, we're in the home-based business arena. And then all of a sudden the conversation said, well, what can we do beyond that to really empower people to build their own enterprises? What can we really do to teach people, to do this, to actually, establish a brand, cultivate a list, monetize a list? Greg, you are passionate about telling people and saying, please, if you think you're going to buy, 100 clicks and make $300 on 100 clicks, well, then I want to share with you, I want to give you an opportunity to buy oceanfront property in Nebraska, because there is no ocean in Nebraska. If you buy oceanfront property in Nebraska, you're kidding yourself. And the same thing here, some people do have epic results out of the gate. They buy 100 clicks and they double their money, they triple. And we hear those stories every morning. But let's be real here, right? The goal, and those things do happen. They can happen, and they will happen for some. But the real goal of what we're doing here with the Traffic Authority is this academy piece. So, Greg, again, I know I'm redundant here, but would you speak to your vision? I know that Doug is out fishing today. Could you speak to your vision and Doug's vision when you said, you know what, let's build an academy section that really, really matters for people? Because that's about the vision, dude. That says how much you guys care about people and the ability. I remember when you told this is, and I'm going to shut up. I just want to let everybody know that one time I said this. I was telling Greg about my own circumstance, right? I was the owner of a company, and we were cash flowing sometimes $500,000 a week, right? My company was it was a big company. It was a brand name in the world of top tier seminars and stuff. And my company began to fail, and it was, because I hadn't really gotten down with the whole internet end of things, right? We were old school. And I was sharing with Greg, like, I'm getting older, dude. I'm tired of always having to restart every 5 years, every 6 years. I'm really exhausted from this, right? I want to be done. I want to build a brand. I want to do something that really matters. And Greg, I remember you saying, dude, well, I'm going to teach you how to build a list, how to cultivate your list, and communicate with that list. Because when you master that technique, you can literally write your own paycheck every single day. You said, dude, the control, the money that you, and you began teaching me that. And that discussion, that conversation is now the Traffic Academy, dude. So, maybe talk a little bit about your passion for this and, your vision for what we can do. Okay?
I'm going to start here, Joe. And I want to just start, that life is, about change and transition. And those who manage that pace, are the ones that win. I'm going through a personal transition at the moment. I'm actually relocating to Tallahassee and, basically going to be there for corporate. I'm really looking forward to working more closely with the group. But I want to tie that in to basically how this business came along. Because, like you were talking about here a minute ago, Joe, really our lead generation started out by producing, a name and telephone number for people. That's what, I did for the first 14 years of my internet lead generation business. And then we moved to the click model, and then we moved to the affiliate click model, which was the beta test. And then, of course, when Adam and the team came on, the entire vision came together, because that's where we're going to be able to reach that 95% for the first time. Because now, instead of just, providing advertising for people and hoping they're going to get the best result ever, we're going to provide that piece, and like you just talked about, the other part. And, I can just say this. I mean, again, those people that are looking to build a skill set, here's one thing I want to tell you right up front. It's going to take effort. Again, everyone can, watch the marketing materials and, watch some videos. And we do have killer marketing. And, again, with that said, the real part of the business, for those people who really want to get in and do more than just sit there and, and buy code and build their list in an automated way, the guys and girls who are really going to go to work and actually implement these things we're talking about, I'm just saying, that's how people like Vince and Matt and Eric Bechtold, these people are really, I just have to say, Joe, they're no different than anyone on the call right now. All they've done is they've gone through the experience. The only difference really with them is time and experience. And again, this is what I'm saying. As you guys, spend advertising dollars, through the Done For You Call from Top Authority or through ads you run yourself and everything else that you do, as you build that list, the part that Joe's talking about here, it's the walk away money. Again, and Joe, I remember the first time you were over at my house, we were talking about it. I told my list up, and I go, here's how easy it is to make money. I put an email in that I had written before, an email I used before, the subject line. I hit send, and we came back an hour later, and there was over $1,000 of revenue that had come in between the time I hit the button and that 1 hour. Mm-hmm. And that's the power of what happens. That's how Vincent Ortega is able to, make almost $200,000 in 6 weeks. He has that same push button part, but the secret, if you will, the part that's mission critical is you've actually got to go through that process of building your list and then building your relationship with that list. Because one of the things that doesn't get talked about nearly enough, Joe, and people talk about having lists. Having email addresses is not a list, for the record. Having an email, list on your ESP like Aweber or GetResponse, that is not a list. A list is someone who knows who you are, who responds to your email. So again, this is the skill portion that we talked about. The difference between the guy, there are plenty of people that have 10,000 people on the email list, and they make no money. And there's a difference with a guy like me with 10,000 who actually people know me on the list, and I can do $1,000 an hour because, again, these people know, like, and trust me, and they're there, to respond. And anyone else you watch who builds teams very quickly, they've got this past. And I wanted to say one last thing, because I don't want to take up everyone's time for doing, but I just want to talk about results for a minute. I've actually been thinking a lot about this week, and looking with you to help people with results, and we are working hard. Here is the thing I really want to say, and this is really the most important thing. So take this, home, if you will. Here's simple facts. You are responsible for your own results. Everyone on this call, the second you understand that you are responsible for your results, it's not about a marketing path. It's not about, which advertising campaign you chose, not this, that, or the other. It is basically what you do with that stuff. And, again, here's where the skill set portion comes in. If you're not getting the results you want, then there's a good reason for that. But the reason is because, you're not doing everything necessary to get that result. And, again, we're not pointing fingers. We're not going to blame anyone. What we're doing instead is we're putting things in place to help teach you those skills. So as you move forward, you will be able to do that. So, again, Joe, like I said, I'm not going to get a whole bunch of time, but, people just simply will take responsibility for their results and take responsibility for learning the skills that they need. I'm just saying it's a game-changing concept. And, again, once they're open to that idea, then they really do start, looking to improve, looking to start building that list and, going from there. So back to you, my friend.
All right, listen, and it is so true. And I do remember, I will testify, you just mentioned that, you were living in Phoenix at the time, and I went to your house, your home office. It was beautiful, and I remember sitting there with you. We had a big, giant office and had a desk for me, and I was going over there every single day for a couple of months. And I remember when you showed it to me, you said, look, this is the real deal here. This is what really is happening in this world, this internet marketing, email marketing world. And just to rephrase what you said, I sat there and I watched as Greg said, okay, here's a list that I've developed over the years, and it was a big list that had a lot of names on it, thousands of names, and he didn't send it to the whole list, just a chunk of responsive. He knew that these people were relatively fresh and they had really subscribed, within a time frame that was, because Greg knows what he's doing. And there was an email that Greg created, right? It was an email, and it had some graphics and it had some text. And I remember the promotion. I think you were. It was actually an affiliate program. It was something else. It was unrelated to what we do here for a living. Okay, it was another product, another service, and that's really what we're talking about here. And I remember that's true. Greg sent an email. He said, "Okay, watch this." He sent it, and you could see the stats that's running. All these emails are going out. We took a break. We came back, and it was just like more money than most people make in a week had happened in an hour. $1,000. It was amazing, and every single day, and to watch, it was fun to watch Greg because it was such an adrenaline rush. He's like, okay, watch this. He's like, yes, it's happening, and money's just pouring in, and he says that's the skill set. And I remember he said, this is what we want to teach people. He said, but understand, I've taken the time. I understand how to do this. I know what a good list is. I know how often I should be sending to the list. I know what it is that they're interested in, and those are the things that you will learn at Traffic Academy if you're willing to put in the time and you show up and you give it the time. In my opinion, your commitment of $144 a month this is a high level education, and you will be paid in the top 1% when you master the things that are available. It's just showing up, okay? It's just showing up. That's all you got to do, and then implement. And one of the things that we do here, one of our new features, I talked about what happened this last week, okay? We also put in addition to the Traffic Academy, we also added a quick start training. For those of you that were there at the very beginning, okay, you were there at the very, very beginning. I'm talking August 5th. If you remember, we had those pre-launch websites, which I think are gone now. I don't even know if they still exist. But you guys know we had those sites, and we had some specific things that we asked that handful of people to do. Things like, post this on Facebook. This is the text. Here's an email that we want you to send to your whatever list you have. If you have a list, send it to this list. And then we had some other things that we asked you to do each and every single day called swipe files. And we had that series of videos. Well, all of that stuff that worked so well on August 5th went live in your back office on Tuesday of this week. It's under the Quick Start training. Okay, so those tools are working. We also, beginning this week, we're sending to you every single morning in an email, if you subscribe to our list, make sure that you look into your junk and into your spam files to make sure that you're getting the emails that we're sending you, because they're going out, okay, if you've opted in. And included in those emails are daily swipe files. Daily swipe files, okay, what that is, that's the actual emails that you should be sending to your list. Now, those emails are written by Darren, the guy who teaches the course in our member back office. Now, this may sound like a contradiction. Okay, we're telling you that you should learn to build your list, cultivate your list, and Darren is going to teach you that course is so amazing on how you can actually take your story. What are you living in life? Who are you as a person? How are you reacting to stuff that you see in social media, and when you're out and about in the world, and when you're dealing with your kids and you're dealing with your spouse? I mean, it is so cool the way he teaches you to be aware. Take what it is that you're learning and write an email. We want you to learn that. We want you to build your own relationship with your list. So the concept of a daily swipe file, that's really training wheels. Okay, those are the training wheels. You start taking a look at the daily swipe files that we send you every single day, and those swipe files are about this experience. It's about this education. It's about these upcoming webinars. But take a look at those swipe files. Look at how they're written. Okay, that's part of the training. Okay, so we offer you the daily swipe files. Consider those training wheels. Okay, as you learn how to really build, cultivate your list, and write your list. Okay. Also, this week we introduced a brand new webinar. Well, it's not brand new. We've been doing a webinar every Tuesday and every Thursday, every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Tuesday and every Thursday, all the way back to August 5th. I think we missed one Tuesday. We didn't do a webinar, and people were like, oh, where's my webinar? So we'll be there every Tuesday and every Wednesday. We'll be there this coming Tuesday with training. Every Thursday, our webinar is a prospecting webinar, okay? And it's evolving, okay? This morning I was working on some slides. So it's not just me talking. It's actually going to be some graphic, and it's going to be some other things to engage people, right? We're introducing some video, testimonials. Very cool. But we introduced a new version of that this week. And in that version that we introduced this week, there's a Buy Now button. So dig this, right? On Wednesday of this week, if you were paying attention, you received an email. It was a swipe file. And the swipe file was there. In the swipe file we gave you, and we asked you, send this swipe file, copy and paste this into your own email, and send it to everyone in your own personal group. And in that swipe file, there was a unique code to each and every one of you that actually attached your prospect. So if you sent an invitation, if you did what we asked you to do, you sent the invitation, and people said, okay, you sent the invitation to your list. You send that swipe file email to your list, and the people who received the email said, yeah, this looks good. I think I'll go check out this webinar. And when they registered, they clicked the button to register now for the webinar. They were attached to you, to the person who sent the email now and forever. And when they were on the webinar on Thursday night, if they liked what they saw, there was a button on the webinar that says, buy now, enroll now. And it actually put those individuals into your funnel. And if they said, yes, I'm going to buy now, then they bought something and you got paid. And this is the kind of service that we're providing. So we're working for you, man. On Thursday night, you might be watching the football game on TV. On Thursday night, you might be out at the gym or at the bar with your buddies. You might be out, who knows, at yoga. Okay? We're out there working and performing for you, and that webinar will continue to sit out there. And that buy now button is continuing to work for you. We're doing our part. We're doing everything humanly and beyond the human realm, relying on technology to get this thing done for y'all. But you guys have to do the work. You have to take responsibility. Like Greg just said, and there is a formula here. And this was cool. Speaking of the formula, here's the truth. Darren, the master of email marketing, in his training, and it's still available at trafficweblive.net, he said right out of the gate, when you're building a list, let's say you're building 100, you've got 100 names on your list. He came right out of the gate, transparent. He said, of those 100, 80 of them will never buy anything from you. Out of your 100, 80 will never buy anything from you. But you're on your list, and they're engaging, and they're asking questions. And if they do buy something, they want their money back after 24 hours because they're freaking out. Real truth here, man. He says, 80% of your list never buys a thing. And he said 15% of your list, 15, that's where 75% of your money is going to come from. He said that 15%, that's where you really get busy and you cultivate and you communicate and you offer value. And it's simple. It's as easy as sending one email a day that you wrote out of your own imagination, so you're connecting with people on some level that is like, whoa, I'm connected with this person. I've never met them. I'm receiving email. I like what I'm hearing. This is what you're learning, right? And then he said 5%, they'll buy anything. They're looking for that instant gratification. So if you're sending out 100 emails to invite people to anything, realize that 80 of them are just going to blow you off or they're going to jerk you around. And 15 may buy something eventually. It might be in a week. It might be in a month. It might be in a year. And then 5%, they're going to jump in at some level. So when you're sending out these emails, and this is the truth, right? Greg, you and I, one of our constant, and this discussion comes up like all the time, dude. All the time we talk about, what about those individuals who are drowning, right? They're buying, they're going to buy 200 clicks today because they need to pay a phone bill next week. And they're praying to God that those 200 clicks are going to generate $5,000, $1,000 in return, and that simply is foolish, right, dude? This whole idea.
Thank goodness, Joe, exactly about that. Again, part of this is about setting petitions, but it is true. I mean, this is not gambling. This is real business, and once you understand understand the numbers, then it becomes a very dependable business. And that, but that takes time. If anyone thinks they're going to learn that in a week, not going to be so. It's taken me 20 years, and I'm still improving on it, So the whole thing, I love when Vince says, we're consolidating time. Well, the one great thing about being right here in Traffic Authority is we are going to, consolidate your time it's going to take to learn these things. I mean, again, we're going to only bring you things that we have proven to work, that we know. Like, if you're just talking about Joe Jarrett, has been a client of Adams for a long time. It's like a secret weapon in the background. And now he's the secret weapon to, 1,700 people who are buying the academy. They now have access to his training. I mean, I'm telling you guys, one thing like this can make a quantum leap difference in results. But again, Joe, it really becomes a matter of becoming open to it, understanding, that this is your business, and then setting expectations, that the results you get, really are the results you deserve. And when people really understand that, all of a sudden it changes the perspective. It focuses more on the money-making activities. And, again, we all know that's where the results come from.
It is, and thank you for that. So just to put a bow on this discussion, we have this brand new prospecting webinar. There's a buy now button on there. Every single Wednesday, this Wednesday, you'll receive swipe files that you can send to your list. But be patient, right? That 15%, okay, 80% of your list buys nothing, but they engage you and they get you excited, and it's like, oh, I got somebody opting in. That 15%, though, that's where your real money is. Now, those individuals may have to see the webinar 3, 4, 5 times. Those individuals may have to do some due diligence. They may have to visit us on the Facebook page. That's the meat and potatoes. That's where the real value is in your list. It really is. So, I just wanted, the reason we have this discussion going right now, you guys, is because, there is fast money here. There are people who are making money right out of the gate. We see them on the webinars. We see them on Facebook, and it can happen for you. It will happen for you if you just stay consistent and persistent. But the real value here is learning us some stuff that, and Vincent talks about this. He's one of our featured speakers. It took him 7 years, and Greg's been at it for 20, and he says, I'm still learning. Our goal here is to take these years of experience and condense it down. So within a year from now, you could have your own list that's producing outside of your traffic authority. Okay, you can have your own list, whatever it is that you're passionate about, communicating with people, and you can be one of these guys that are making, $10,000 a week. That really can happen for you, for real. That really can happen. And what does your life look like when you're making that kind of money, man? $10,000 a week, even $5,000 a week, $1,000 a day. How cool? What kind of life you can live on $1,000 a day? That's $365,000 a year, and that can happen here for you if you're willing to take the time to learn the skill, understand what you're doing. And I love it what you said, Greg. This is not gambling. This isn't Vegas. This is a business that has a real structured plan, and if you follow the structure and you execute the plan, the results are going to be there. So use the tools, okay? Use the tools. A couple more things, Greg, and then I'm going to wrap it up here this morning. Again, I missed you the last couple of days. I know that you're moving or you're transitioning to Tallahassee, and you kind of got me thinking. The reason I'm here in Arizona, when I was living in Chicago back in 2002, the reason I'm here is because I had an extraordinary opportunity with a fresh new company, and it was a 7-figure opportunity. And so I'm thinking, unless what I'm hearing about the mosquitoes in Tallahassee, that they're like the size of a hummingbird, that they're like man-eaters, if that's not true, then I may be behind you 30 days, bro, because I want to be where the action is. I want to be in the heartbeat, right? I want to be able to walk in to the office and say, okay, what's up? What are we doing? What can I do to help, right? So that's what I'm thinking, bro.
I can just tell you, Joe, that those mosquito stories are definitely overemphasized. I will tell you, because Tallahassee is more like South Georgia. It's really not beachfront property, 2 hours from the Panhandle coast. So yeah, it is not beachfront, but I will tell you those squirrels are huge. If you ever see Chad like Skype and he's feeding the squirrels, he's not kidding. I mean those squirrels are the size of cats. It's crazy.
And is it Florida State University, one of the biggest college football towns in the world, is there? And was it you that said to me that Tallahassee is it's got a beer it's a beer town with a football problem or something like that? We were laughing one day.
Yeah, that is exactly what they say. I mean, they never. I mean, they tailgate it like you wouldn't believe. It is a college town, no question about it. But of course, not being from Tallahassee, I don't know, dude. I'm busy working on Saturdays personally. I'm not a huge college football fan, so but I will tell you, it's like a religion out there. It's crazy.
Well, I'm thinking, I'm not sure. Life is just so full of opportunities, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just go to Tallahassee, man, because that's where Chad is, and that's where Greg's going to be, and that's where, Carl is there, and Jason is there, and that's kind of like, okay, they could probably be very productive there. But you never know. Things are going to happen. They'll play out exactly the way that they're supposed to play out. Greg, thank you very much for taking the time to come here this morning. I know that you got a lot going on. I'll be in touch with you a bit later. Ladies and gentlemen, I also have a couple more things I want to remind you of. We have the radio show every single day. It's at radioleverage.com, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Go there right now. This radio show you're listening to right now will be available for rebroadcast in about 10 minutes. Okay, the reason we use radioleverage.com is because everything is there. It's always archived. It's Blog Talk Radio. You are free to use these radio shows as a marketing tool, like the one that we did on Friday. The ones that we do, sometimes they're 2 hours long, right? And I know people like content. So, any of these radio shows, if you hear something that you think is valuable, feel free. Send them, download them, put them on your own blog. It's just content that you can use. Remember that we also have our webinars. We'll be back on Tuesday night with a training webinar. Thursday night there will be another prospecting webinar. Also, here is a very big announcement. And this was made yesterday for those of you who showed up on the radio show. You know that coming up October 6th, which is coming up, today's the 3rd, right? Today's the 3rd, tomorrow's the 4th, right? Monday is the 5th, Tuesday is the 6th. October 6th, at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Traffic Authority is undergoing a major upgrade of services, software, hardware, a major thing. Remember the major trophy in the movie Christmas Story? Remember the trophy with I want you guys to visualize. Remember the woman's leg on Christmas? He had the big woman's leg. I have that lamp actually. Remember that? A major trophy, a major award. Well, we have a major upgrade, a major. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on Tuesday, October 6th, what's going to happen is the sites are going to be unavailable. And the goal is to get it done by 6 in the morning, okay? So there's going to be a short time there. It's going to begin happening at 3 o'clock, and then it will be back online no later than 6. But so don't freak out. Don't be, for those of you guys who are up in the middle of the night or maybe you live in Europe, this is Eastern Standard Time, 3 a.m., October 6th. That stuff is going to be taking place, okay? So don't worry about it, but I want you guys to be aware of it so you know. And also there's a really cool piece that I saw this morning that the team has built, another training piece. We'll talk about it on Monday morning, and we'll tell you where to find it. Until then, though, again, Mr. Greg Chambers, thank you for joining me here this morning. Doug Wellens, wherever you are, we'll be having Doug back here next week. And until then, man, make it a great weekend, okay? Let's go play in some traffic. Be safe, but play in traffic. Let's get it done, okay? Let's do this. See you Monday, everyone. Thank you, Greg.